One love, one sound, one gospel. 108PraiseRadio.com. Let all the people say amen.
We're here to help you find what is your fight. What are you a warrior of? As the Left Behind, we're here to empower you to find your voice from reaching from pain to peace. So join us on this movement. So it is more than a moment that you are stuck in, so that you can reach your place of victory. Join us on Empowering the Left Behind, the movement from pain to peace, here at the Relationship Service Station. Go from
Praise Radio is looking for interns. We're looking for student interns that are looking for an opportunity in media, radio engineers, social media, administrative, graphic design, audio video, web design, marketing, etc. All candidates must be 18 years and older, currently enrolled in school, looking to earn college credit, and the opportunity to build their resumes. Please submit your resume and cover letter to interns at 108PraiseRadio.com or call 405-586-5224.
Legendary Weekend Experience 2017 starts Friday, April the 28th, with the Ultimate Blogger Beauty Experience hosted by Claire Summers of Fashion Bomb Daily. The illustrious Shades of Blackness Fashion Show at 7 o'clock p.m. and the All Red After Party hosted by Magic
Live 108 Praise Radio. And I got a earplug tonight because I wanted to enjoy the jam tonight myself, so that you all are listening to. I didn't want to hear just silence. So I wanted to hear the songs that I've chosen because I enjoy the words. And what the song we were listening to is Your Cries Have Awoken the Master. And it's actually by the Bowling family. So for you all who are coming in and you're not on the app and you're not connected to this, and we're live streaming to you in some other way, please go back and listen to that song about Your Cries Have Awoken the Master. We're in this series about During the Storm. And of course, this is probably my favorite Tuesday, the last Tuesday, because it's an opportunity for us to really pour back and give back to a community of people who really need some uplifting, who need some guidance. And when I say it's doing the grief journey, because I think some people feel like when time has passed, the grief is over, but it's always a memory that can kind of trigger something that's in your life. So this is what we're calling the widower's voice, to actually give voice to people. And I always tell you behind the stories because me and my husband have experienced that. We lost our spouse the same month, same year, and I mean, it wasn't we eradicated and got rid of each other's spouses, because I know what people think, you know, y'all some crazy people. We didn't do that now. So it was God's plan how that worked out. But the song is about the cries that awoken the master. A lot of time people in a state, they don't like to cry. They don't want to be heard. And the thing is, if you don't cry out to the Lord, you don't wake him up and let him know that you need his help. So on that journey during the storm, trying to hold and trying to be brave all the time, it's not what's required. Sometimes on this journey of life, we need to break down. We need to cry. We don't always have to be perfectly put together. So this is an opportunity for us. If we need to, we can cry tonight together. Every once in a while, I break down the cry on station. So, yes, Miss Randall Manding Johnson, be all right if I cry a little bit on this story or something. I'm a crybaby, my husband. And it kind of leads into our scripture, which is Psalms 35. And it says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. But the thing is, we got to get past the weeping. A lot of times we hold in the weeping. That's why we don't reach that state of joy that we're waiting on. A lot of us are like, okay, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to be tough. And I'm going to say that especially for men. We talk about that on our last Tuesdays about men have a hard time getting in touch with their emotions. And so that not being able to get in touch with their emotions actually hinders them from getting to that morning joy. So they spend a lot of time at night because they can't experience that joy. And our guest is on tonight, not because she's just a fabulous woman, one of my fellow queens on this journey of royal wisdom, but she is what I would say is the epitome of what our theme is, choosing to live. She's just not living. She's living what they call the glam life. So it is not that she is just living. She's living the glam life. And when I say glam life, I know y'all think about always designer or luxurious, but she's living what her logo say, classy and fabulous. So she is what that is saying. She wrote an awesome poem, and She sent it to me, and I am going to read it for you all, because for everybody that's on the line who has lost a spouse, especially in the line of duty, in the military, this poem would definitely be something that could bless your soul. Because when I read it, I was like, but y'all gotta understand, she's a writer. So she is a writer, and there's some fabulous things that I'm going to let her talk about that is coming from her pen, that it's going to be more in the book, y'all. Y'all going to get to see it. Y'all going to get to interact with it. You will love it. I ain't even heard about it, and I know you're going to love it. So that's how much I believe that it is awesome. And this is about From the Widow of a Soldier. So all of my military people who are listening in, if you haven't made it on the line yet, tag somebody, send it to somebody, because this is the message they need to hear tonight. It says, from the widow of a soldier left behind in disbelief and in a state of confusion, this couldn't be happening. It's just all an illusion. We just talked, exchanged emails, you were coming home soon. Never imagined in a box, draped with a flag under the cover of the moon. Can't help but wonder if you suffered. Was it quick? I hope you felt no pain, while still trying to hold it together in hopes of not going insane. The kids still need me, so it's required that we go on, but there's no way to erase the pain of a loved one that has passed on. Now living second to second, one before day by day, trying to smile through the tears of a room filled with gray. But I can take pride in the memories that 17 years can bring, and thank God for the gift of you, our children, and the honor of wearing your ring. It's been a tough adjusting to a new life for which had no plans, but I can honestly say that with God, I am in good hands. The kids are doing well. God protects them that way. But for me, it's a little different. This was a huge price to pay. Although this could be considered a horrible situation, I can easily find the good because of my biblical foundation. And one thing I can always hold dear to my heart is the fact that we did boo till death do us part. So I won't read her dedication. That's very personal about. But it was really things in the poem that I'm going to ask you a few questions about. But before we do that, I'm going to go back, give us some radio music, and then once we have our two songs, which is Rain Down, and that's by Kim Walker, and then After the Rain, Aaron Jeffrey. I got some things in that poem that I really want to talk about. Then I want to talk about what glam life is, and I want to just talk about what was the grief journey for Randa Mandy Johnson, and how it evolved, and what would you tell other people to do to step into that second chance. So we'll be back with an awesome word. So if you are here, don't leave us. And if you know somebody that needs to be on the line, share, invite, because it is going to be an awesome word that's going across the airwaves tonight. So come back.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, he had gone over to the Middle East for his final deployment, and 10 months into the deployment, 2 months before he was scheduled to come home, he actually had an accident over there, you know, what they're telling me, and he passed away. It's still, even though it's been 6 years, it seems like it's yesterday, and it's still unbelievable, and all of those things. And so I still haven't really come up with a way to describe it, if that makes any sense,
And I think what people don't realize, anytime they ask you to tell the story, it conjures up a certain amount of memory. No matter if you say, okay, I understand it, I've made peace with it, it conjures the memories of where you were at the moment when you received that news. Because it's just one of those things, like in your poem said, there's gotta be an illusion. I just talked to you. How, and then you, like you say, I'm planning for you to be home in 2 months. And not coming back to me in this form and fashion. And what I want the guests to understand that you had your own storm you were already going through. It was a storm, because after the rain, sometimes we think, okay, nothing coming after this but sunshine, nothing coming after this but rainbows. So how did it affect you even that much more? And I mean, you can tell us if you don't want to tell us about what you were already going through before you even got the news that your husband had passed.
Oh, absolutely. You know, what I was going through is me and my husband, my family, we're pretty much a motorcycle family. So, you know, almost everybody in my family rides. And so I had a really bad motorcycle accident. Someone on the freeway didn't see me, hit me on the freeway, actually threw me across 3 lanes. You know, God's grace, I wasn't hit by any other cars or anything like that, but I pretty much lost the functionality of my left leg. And so, this happened in November of 2010, and then 8 months later, you know, he passes away. And the crazy thing about it is that, you know, he passed away on a motorcycle over in the Middle East. You know, and a lot of people, I don't tell the story a lot, but of course the people that are closer to me know that, you know, but because it was classified line of duty because he was over there, but he actually died in a motorcycle accident over there. I shipped his motorcycle over there, which, you know, he had been begging to get it, you know, and so that's what happened. Less than a month after I sent it over there, he crashed and died on it. And, you know, the crazy thing about it is that when I found out that he had passed away, I actually found out on Facebook.
Oh, my goodness.
And I woke up the next morning. That's kind of, you know, I know you know that I'm a filmmaker, so that's what my film is actually about, is that I woke up the next morning after I had spoken with him, and I had condolences. You know, and it was like, you know, what is this? You know, what are you guys talking about? What is this? And so I called the military and I said, you know, I woke up to these condolences. I need to know if my husband's alive. And so they said, well, asked me who he was, where we stationed, and yada, yada, yada. And so they said, okay, well, we'll check it out and we'll give you a call back. And so literally I sat in the window waiting for this call, and the messengers roll up. I knew that they were coming. And so that's what happened. They come to the door, and I just opened it, and I said, I've been expecting you.
Okay, see, now, it is funny that you mentioned that, because a lot of times, Facebook, social media, does not even allow you to absorb your own real emotions, because they are already pouring stuff on you, and you hadn't even heard for yourself. And I'm still trying to figure out how Facebook knows what you do. But, I mean, the whole concept is sometimes we grieve, and the other person hadn't even got to that point yet. We've already, you know, we're pushing them along. You hadn't even got the message to get into a place yet. And people were already overwhelming you. And I say that for everybody. I understand that you are being kind, that you are being nice by doing that. But a lot of times we suffocate people, you know, with sometimes the get wells, the do good, you know, how are you doing? Especially because we're bombarding people for that solidary moment. And then they're gone. You have nobody doing the rest of that journey when you really need them. And I know my husband is over here shaking his head, because that's something that he really preaches about. So go ahead and say what you want to say. And I know you probably got a question, because you are a lover of motorcycles yourself.
Well, there's a lot in common, you know, because I love bikes, and I tell my wife I got a wrist problem, so I and stuff like that. You know, I'm a deer devil, so I don't have all kind of accidents on a bike. You know, every broken bone you want to know, I don't have it, so I understand how where you coming from. But it's real, you know. When my wife passed, you know, I'm still going to rehabilitation myself. So what my wife doing for me now is really rehabilitation, because what I try to solve all my issues, try to hide everything, I stay busy. That's me. I stay busy. I'm busy all the time. Only time I come to the house when I'm getting ready to go to sleep. I try to stay busy. But that didn't help me. I thought that would help me, but it didn't help me until I married this beautiful lady here, and then she started saying, "Well, we're going to talk about this," and I don't want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about this. So she figured out some kind of way to get me to talk about it. So here I am, talking about it. But I feel better now because, like my wife did before, we as men, we hold everything in. And that's not good whatsoever. So to all men, like we talked before, get with someone and talk about it because you'll feel a whole lot better. You'll feel a whole lot better, Stop holding in because, it causes a whole lot of health problems and stuff like this. Then, if you decide to get involved again with another individual, if you don't talk to nobody and get it out, it's going to be a nightmare for them. So you don't want to bring another person into your nightmare. So you try to get people in and work on your issue because don't say you don't have none, you got them. Because my wife passed in 2011, 2012, and I'm still having some issues, but I'm a whole lot better now. Because what I'm doing now, my wife, she had me doing this now because she's, you gotta talk about it because y'all ladies, y'all can work on a lot easier than he is, but because you figure you're a man, you don't need to do that. But I really respect you. I really feel for you because, and like you, because you say you're a motorcycle rider. And that's awesome, man. That's great. But let me ask you this question: How you seem to deal with all this at one time? And
I have to attribute it to God. I don't have any explanation for it but that. It's like until something happens, you don't really know how much He's prepared you for it. Even a lot of times, we don't choose to use the tools that He's given us, but He really gave me a wake up call. Not only in my accident myself, because like I tell everybody, my friends always ask me, "Are you going to ride again?" And I say, well, first of all, I can't ride again. I would love to. I would have gotten right back up, picked my bike up if I could. It was a Harley, so I couldn't pick it up, but picked it back up and got on up and rode on off. But because He took out my left leg, and, as a rider, your left leg is your shifting leg, it was like he told me, okay, this is not for you anymore. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I've learned to listen to Him when He's talking to me, and I've learned to really recognize the signs of when He's working. And so even after my husband passed away, all these things begin to come back to you on, just how much I did prepare you for this. God, and one thing God told me, and I'll never forget this, is when I was really upset, and, we go through these different channels of grief and anger and guilt and, all of these things, and I was one of my angry streaks, and God, I'm kind of sarcastic, and so He speaks to me in that same voice, and He told me He wasn't yours to begin with. He was mine, so I had the right to take Him whenever I felt like it. And, and there was nothing I could say to that because that's totally true. I can only be grateful for the time that You gave Him to me. And so because I'm aware of that, and I'm aware of the fact that I'm not the first to lose a husband. I won't be the last. Somebody's losing one right now. I can't take it so personally. I know we take so many things so personally as if we're the only person going through it, and, how am I going to get through this? Nobody else understands what I'm going through, but there's no experience that's unique to one person, and we have to realize that we're all going through something. Not only are we going through something for ourselves, but we're going through something for everybody else to be able to take a look and see that you made it through, that they can make it through as well. And so because I know that I was purposed for a testimony and that I was purposed to be able to inspire and encourage people to get through it because He helped me through it, that's pretty much the only way I'm able to get through it, because, that's losing someone so close to you, and he was the very first person that was ever so close to me that I lost. And so they say that you lose people in threes. Actually, immediately after, I lost my cousin, very close cousin, then an uncle, but I guess just having lost him first, it was just a major blow, but it was a blow that I can handle because God had already prepared me for it.
But you said another thing that hits home for me too, because when you say when you shift your bike over to your husband, and he had an accident and he's deceased, But I had that same issue too. Because when my wife was in the hospital, and she couldn't talk. She's in bad shape. She couldn't hardly talk or do nothing. Then after I left and went home and get some sleep, because I was working real hard and I was tired. I said, Dave, I'll come back and see you in the morning. So my wife called me about 1 o'clock that morning and said, you need to come down and see about me. But that surprised me because she talking real clearly, because she couldn't talk before. And she dialed me off her cell phone. She couldn't have strength to dial me off her cell phone. I said, oh, you're getting better. I said, I'll be down there and see you about a couple hours and get a little more nap. But my reason for saying what I'm saying, because I got a call back from hospital about 4:30, wanting me to come down there and talk to the doctor. And I felt kind of bad because I figured if I'd have got up and she called me, I think this never would happen. And then I'm listening at you when you shift the motorcycle to your husband. That happened. Now, what I'm asking you, in that moment, how you deal with that after you sent the motorcycle to him and this happened to him?
You know, honestly, is that my husband was such a lover of riding, you know, and I can actually take comfort in the fact that he passed away doing something that he loved, because I know had I not shifted, there'd be a problem. You know, so it's like, okay, I can either shift the motorcycle and have some peace in my marriage, or I can, you know, keep the motorcycle here and, you know, and have a problem with this man, you know. And so I knew that was what I had to do regardless, and I know that it was something that he loved. And to be totally honest with you, he wrote so much and he loved it so much. Subconsciously, I always knew that would probably be the way that he passed away. And, you know, and I hate to say that, but it's the God's honest truth, you know. And so that's kind of how I deal with that, or how I guess make peace with myself about it, you know, because I know that we can't live with the guilt of what could have and should have been, because if God wanted it that way, it would have been that way, because we know that he controls everything. You know, and so if he wanted us to stop something, it would have been stopped, you know. So especially when you're a true believer, you have to know that you have absolutely zero control in the situation when God is deciding what he's going to do with the soul he created, you know.
I like that.
So that's kind of how I make peace with myself and not take on that guilt.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said you make peace with it. Because I think there are a lot of people that have that same guilt that they drag with them. And that's a bag that I want people to let go. Because one thing is, you have no control over saving another person's life. I mean, because ultimately, whether you ship that bike or not, God was going to take him before he wasn't going to send it back. So, I mean, the thing is, at least he enjoyed the way that he went, because he could have went out being on, like you said, and got a horrible, painful death. But at least you know in your mind that he was doing something that he enjoyed, and that he went in a peaceful place that you had already placed. So, I mean, that's just like my husband says, if he had made it to the hospital, you weren't a doctor, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't have done anything more than so. And I think we say, okay, if I had been there, you know, it would have helped one more time. They would have made it one more day, one more year, one more, you know. The thing is, we are not God. So ultimately, we do with all of us, no matter how they lost their lives, we got to make peace with that loss. Whether somebody else's hand took their life, whether it was an accident, whether it was a disease, you know, whether it was just long life, however the incident occurred in life, it was God's timing. And I mean, that's the whole thing that we got to, and I mean, that's a hard thing to wrap our mind around, is God's timing, because we don't understand it. And that is a crucial point. But in your point, it was something else that you said. And I think you really told us how you didn't go insane. But one of the things you had to deal with was younger kids. And thank God for both of us. We don't have little bitty kids. And even at that time, they were all teenagers, so I didn't have to, you know, raise any babies and do the whole explanation of that process. How do you, and I know God protects them, but how do you actually keep your grief without pouring your grief on them?
course, it's not crying in front of them as much as I can hold it. And I'm not afraid of counseling. Like we've done the grief counseling. And we are a family that reads the Bible together and prays together and things like that. And so, I have to say that I feel, even though I felt it was a little harder for the kids, I also feel that God also prepared them as well, because after that they progressed emotionally and matured. I feel a lot faster. And even my daughter, who was the youngest, I would have conversations with her, and she would tell me certain things, which is actually how that poem came about. Is that she told me, she said, I was crying one day, she walked in and she said, "You thinking about Dad, huh?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, maybe you should write him a letter." And I said, "Well, he's not going to get it." She said, "I know he's not going to get it, but just write him a letter." And she was only about maybe 5 years old. And she said, "Well, just write him a letter." And at that point, after that, I started just writing him letters, writing poems, and all of these things. But it was like, okay, like out of the mouth of babes, God has a message in everybody, and so I think that primarily, he not only prepared me, but he prepared them too, even though it was a different type of preparation and they're dealing with it differently. And I'm trying to help them as much as I possibly can by not totally checking out and not, making sure that I'm watching certain things that they do and certain things that they say so that it can be addressed. And, hopefully they won't have too much healing to do as adults from their childhood, and that it's not too traumatizing. But, ultimately I have to put it in God's hands. And, he created the situation, he allowed the situation, so I know that he'll handle the situation.
Yeah, I know I follow you on social media, and I see that you are a very well-rounded and prioritized person, and keeping your kids in activities and, going forth and grow. And one of the things that you said is about the maturity that they get sometimes when they're pushed into a situation. And it's funny that you said your 5-year-old daughter did that, but the thing is, she knew you better than you knew yourself. And she knew that you need, your gift was going to allow you to actually find a sense of peace. Just like you told us in the beginning, that what you're writing, what we're going to see, evolves about, that wake up, the messages, it reached to this point after you wrote those letters, after you wrote those poems, to actually be kind of your memorial to him in a different way. Your way, of being able to honor him. And I think that's what all of us need to do, is really find that gift in us, our way to honor, our way to give back. And yours is writing, mine is talking. And so this is my way of giving back and empowering. I've always had the gift of gab. So here I am as the voice of this cause, as a widow's advocate. So that's why I say everybody has something. Whether you dance, whether you sing, whether you make arts and crafts, whatever it is that you can find a way to bring honor. And actually, through that honor, what all you're doing is allowing yourself to vent, allowing yourself to go through those emotions and through those memories to put it back out. And so I'm gonna put my husband on the spot again and to see how he feels about that, doing that honoring and the memories. He loves when I put you on the spot.
Very short. I'm tired, there's a lot of memories. There's a lot of memories. But I can't describe it because I try to keep it under control, because if I don't, it'll get the best of me. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because I was taking it hard before. But counseling helped me helped me out with this situation, because, I had a friend to go talk to, and because I took it real hard, especially the part you say about the motorcycle, the little motorcycle that I brought back. Remember, same part I was at the hospital, and she called me and said, "Come check on me." And I took that the hardest. I took that harder than anything, because I figured if I was there, she would die. But I've been got counseling. I've been talking to a friend of mine. He sit there and broke stuff down to me, and then I started feeling better, because my wife now, and I stopped doing her the same with my wife because I got kind of frustrated. I said, well, I teach a lot of people exercise. You know, I teach a lot of ladies that I used to working out all the time, and I got kind of frustrated because here I'm going out to the gym training other women how to keep themselves in shape. And my wife, when she passed, I ain't took up the time to hang with her to make sure she get her health in order. Then the same thing, before I'm married now, I said, I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to go out and train folks. I'm going to get my wife. You're going to spend some time together, get her where she want to be, because I'm not going to repeat this again. But as I'm saying, I'm feeling a whole lot better now. I feel a whole lot better. I feel it was a teaching environment for me, because I was so fast with everything, willing to, like say, train other folks. Now I'm learning to take care of home first. The same time I put in trying to train other women, I take time to try to train my wife. That's my teaching right there. That's where my memory, that would make me honor my wife is in heaven now, because I want to keep doing the same thing. And so that's how I deal with it.
Yeah, see, and the thing is, that's why I want everybody to know, we all got different coping mechanisms. There is not one right way. And I think everybody think, okay, well, if I talk to this person and see what they did, I'm going to be able to copy that and do the exact same thing. But one thing, just like Remy said, it's not an isolated emotion that any of us have. Somebody's been through that situation. There's somebody to talk to. So nobody out there has to be alone. You're alone because you want to be. You decide, I'm going to sit in the corner, I'm going to pout, and because I want to be a victim, I want to be woe is me, I want people to come giving me a pity party. But at some point, nobody's going to show up for the party no more. Nobody's going to show up for the party no more. And you're going to be in a very, very sad place. And I know all of us, like you said, you have those close circle of friends that are really close. But even after a point, if you have a pity party too long, you wear and tear on them if you're not doing healthy venting, trying to actually heal. And when I say heal, I don't mean get over the grief. People like to say that. People like to say don't be sad anymore. Those things happen. Like me and my husband talk, he know when I'm having one of those moments, it don't take the something that remind me about something that happened. I go into a little place. I might stay in the shower too long. All the hot water be gone. They be like, "What you doing?" So yeah, you know. That way you can cry in the shower, you know. Nobody knows that. You be like, "Oh, so got in my eyes." So those are things and emotions that we go through, because there is. And what I want people to understand, when you get to that next stage of finding someone or opening up your life, it's not that you are replacing the loss, and I think that's what people think, is you're replacing the loss if you're allowing yourself to continue to live. And that was one of the things that I loved about your poem. You said, I'm going to continue this journey. You know, you didn't say, okay, I mean, you said it was going to be hard. You said it was going to be hard. And yes, it's hard. I mean, that's just another storm that God has taken you through. And I mean, I know it's one of those emotions that's probably triggered by different things in your life on a regular basis, especially since you have your kids. You look at it and be like, you know, I really wish you would have not missed this moment, could have seen this moment, you know, could have been at the graduation, could have, you know, been at daddy, daughter, this, you know, all of those emotions. So, as a mother of kids and who have lost your spouse, I just want you to tell one last thing. What would you tell people who have lost their husband? What do they need to do?
I can't really say what they would need to do, you know, because.
Well, tell me what you did, then. How about that?
Everybody's different, you know, and sometimes I see. Like I know a lot of people who have gone through the loss of spouses and family members, and a lot of times I see. Well, I'm going to think about one particular person that I've seen that has children, that they were constantly trying to force the memory of that person down their children's throat. You know, and I think that, and I don't want to say that that's a bad thing, but at the same time, I think that they were using the fact that they wanted to keep the memory so close that they felt that they had to force the memory on the children to make sure that they didn't forget or whatever the situation is. But, you know, not that they would forget. I don't know. I didn't quite understand it, and it was kind of, I could see that it was wearing on the children. You know, that they were forcing this, you know, these kids to constantly talk about the parent and constantly look at photos and constantly, you know, want to pretend basically as if that person was still there. That's what I kind of felt like it was, you know, and so because I saw it wearing on the children, it was something that stayed with me, and it really had my heart really heavy. So I would say that, you know, whatever you're going through that you feel you want to hold on to, don't force that off on anybody else. Do your grieving, allow people to do their grieving, because everybody grieves differently, you know, especially our children. We never know, you know, they're all individuals, you know, and so we can't lump them, you know, even if you got 5 kids, those are 5 individual souls, 5 individual attitudes, 5 individual everything, you know, and you can't lump it into one situation and hope that one coping mechanism works for them all. You know, you're going to have to set them, you know, each side separately, have a talk with them, you know, and see where everybody's head is individually, and then deal with them accordingly, you know, to make sure that you help them the best way that you possibly can to get through it, you know, without forcing your own insecurities or guilt or issues you're dealing with on your own. Even though that's going to be hard, you're going to still have to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think that's great what you did. You have to allow everybody their own individual way to be. So tonight, I'm sorry we only had 60 minutes. It seemed like it just went by fast. I could have probably talked to you for another hour tonight. But just tell people where to find you so they won't miss your show that's coming out.
I am at Glam Life Society everywhere you possibly can look. And you can also just Google Randa Manning Johnson. I'm into PR, so I make sure that I'm all over the place. So, yeah, Randa Manning Johnson, Google me. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know, I'm all over the place.
All right, I am so honored
to find a little easy at times.
You can share your story, and that's one of the biggest things, that we cannot hide our story because it is there to let somebody else along this journey. So I'm glad that you joined us tonight. And everybody, thank you for joining us here at the Master Relationship Mechanic Show. We'll be back here next Tuesday. If you still need a word for the Willows, make sure you join us on Instagram at Master Relationship Mechanic so you can get your daily Instagram minutes. Thank you all. See you all next Tuesday.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a great evening.
You too.